starting the project with the left foot. In my last video I made an office desk with an interesting design that a lot of you guys enjoyed, and in this one I want to build a small cabinet with 2 drawers that will fit beneath the desk, and also apply the same design on it. You will see what I am talking about further in the video. The cuts went crooked a little bit, but this issue will be solved by the planer. Also, I am getting a straight edge as a reference for my table saw. The material I am using is ash, and the inserts will be from walnut, mostly scraps left from the desk. After cutting them to a rough width, I am throwing them on my workbench, and you guys are watching me from above, and let you be the judge. I chop them to a rough length, and before I plane them, I need to figure out the grain, so I'm not gonna go against it. After I match them, I cut the first boards with the bottom down, and the next ones will be flipped with the bottom up, and proceeded to cut them and repeat the process on the next. By doing so, I get a mirror cut, let's say, on the edges, and this will help the boards to stay flat when gluing them up with a seamless joint. I learned this from Chris from 4i's Furniture YouTube channel. This is useful when you have a crappy table saw like I have. By the way, 4i's Furniture is the best furniture making YouTube channel in my opinion. I learned a lot from it. So thank you, Chris. You inspire a lot of people. You see me working on my tools, and most of them don't have protection against dangers that may occur. For example, my table saw doesn't have a riving knife, and a kickback may happen at any moment. And also my planer has a belt running wild next to my guts, and with no protection on the arbor. All this is very dangerous, and I am suggesting you do not copy what you see here. If you are doing this, you are doing it at your own risk. Even if I have some experience with woodworking tools, this won't guarantee my safety. And by the time you are watching this video, I am improving all the tools for safety in my workshop. Somehow I feel responsible for everyone who is watching this video, and I want you to stay safe in your workshop. This being the end grain, half of this glue will be absorbed by it, and that's why I am applying so much. Probably I should have mounted the strips freely in the slots without any glue, because wood movement is a serious thing in woodworking. But then I was thinking how. But these strips are small and they will be locked together after the glue cures. I don't think wood movement will be a problem on this case. I will keep an eye on them. The next day the boards and the faces were ready for the next step. I cleaned the faces of the excess glue, but one of them had stains that didn't clear so easily. I am sure the sanding process will fix this problem. Metal and wood glue don't get along. I should have known that. I cut the boards to their final length and added a straight edge on the width. After that, I stacked them together so I could get the exact measurements of the cabinet. And note them down, because otherwise I will forget them quickly. And proceeded to cut them to their final dimension, starting with the lateral parts, which are bigger, and then with the top and the bottom parts. And suddenly I realized that something didn't add up. So I had to do some measures again. Maybe I was hungry and I ate 5 centimeters. Measure once, cut twice, they say. Next, I am preparing my crappy table saw for the 45-degree cut. I'm doing the cuts with the sled, and when I made the first cut, another surprise. I then realized that this thing is assembled with screws. Nice. Anyway, the blade was fine. But I could not say the same thing for the screw. I definitely need a bigger workbench. This one is not even half of a proper workbench, but I managed to build bigger things on it. I'm not complaining. I clean the excess glue and then place it in position by putting some square clamps under it and clamping it to the workbench. I have to mark every centimeter, and on every second centimeter I will add an insert. It will make sense in a minute. I let this set overnight, and the next day I started by cutting the inserts with the handsaw. I would have used the jigsaw, but there are too many edges poking around and it might be dangerous. I am smoothing the things up with the hand plane, followed by the chisel. I can do this all day. Nothing is wasted in this workshop. I am keeping all these walnut leftovers. Maybe they will come in handy in a future project. Or they will end up in the stove. I prepared all the parts for the drawers and now I am assembling them. I am using screws for this because it's faster. The first drawer is ready. Happy me. Now I am making the drawer sliders. They are composed of a strip of oak and a piece of plywood with a slot in it. All this will make for a nice slide without using any hardware. They run well enough, but they catch a bit at the beginning. I will add some wax for a smoother slide. The second one needed some adjustments. I already prepared the legs and I must mount them, but not until I give you a better view. After the mounting of the faces, I checked them to see how they looked, and I wasn't happy with how flat they appeared, and I had to sink them in a little bit. So again I made a chamfer, which I think will give some depth. I prepared a thin sheet of plywood for the back to close things up nicely, and I mounted it using some good old nails. It looks way better now. A way fancier rabbit cage. It's crazy how this tiny thing took me twice as long to build than the desk itself. This is mainly because of the many inserts I had to add to it. Imagine if I had to build this only using hand tools. I don't think I would have been able to do that. I have way more respect for the people back in the days when they didn't have all this technology and they had to rely only on hand tools. And also for the people today who are creating beautiful things only using hand tools. I really don't like this part where I have to ask you to subscribe or like the video or whatever, because I don't know if you have found something valuable about this video. All this remains your decision. If you made it so far in this video, maybe you consider subscribing, because this will help me to make way better videos in the future. And let's not forget about the handles. I just simply screw them in place. For the finish I am using teak oil, the same oil I used on the desk in my last video.